Good morning to all you beautiful artists out there. I took a couple days off, as you know already, and I released the human design episode. It's episode 45, so it was the last one that came out. We had recorded that about 2 months ago, but I had just barely been able to edit it and get it out there for you guys to hear. But the feedback that I got back on that so far has been incredible. I love that you guys are so interested in it. I am looking forward to the fun things that Elise and I will be doing together in my program, Deep Healing for the Creative Soul. But I did want to let you guys know that currently I do have a module that is just for human design. I believe it's week 5 currently. And in that week, I do personalized videos for all of the students. They're about 15 to 20 minutes long, and just going through what I see on your human design chart and providing you with a PDF that has like a lot of detailed information about your chart that you can absolutely take with you and start digging into at your own leisure. It is very detailed, so it might be overwhelming when you first get it, but that's okay. So far, the feedback on that has been incredible. It's amazing to see what kind of things can come out of your human design that directly affect your creativity, and mostly how you share your voice with the world too. That's been really fun to dive into. So without further ado, today I want to talk about a couple things that are on my heart. We're going to go back to the basics of subconscious programs or negative thought patterns. And we're going to talk about how some of these traumas are sneaking up on people. It's just been on the surface this past weekend with things going on in the creative community. And so I wanted to just share some of my thoughts and what I see as an outsider, as a healer, and just the perspective that I have and the things that I pick up on when people are hurting and dealing with more than what they think they can handle, right? That's the key word, what they think they can handle. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hey friend, welcome to Deep Healing for Creative Entrepreneurs. My name is Aubrey Barr, and I am a subconscious release technique practitioner and photography business owner. I know you are sick of ending your day feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, and you are seeking a solution to help you feel creatively inspired and actively engaged in your business as well as personal life. In this podcast, we are going to dig into any limiting beliefs or subconscious programs that are keeping you in a space filled with anxiety and stress. This work is not a temporary solution for your life. No, this is a complete transformation. So grab your coffee or tea and let's start you on the road to healing. And let me just say, you can do this. You are worth it, and you are meant to thrive in life and business. So let's dig in. Well, this seemed like just such a good opportunity for me to talk again about subconscious programs. You guys hear me say those words a lot together. I've been really trying to rearrange my words to say things that makes more sense to a lot of people, because that would be like the super, I don't want to say scientific, but just a really kind of cut and dry way of saying your negative thought pattern. So let's talk about how you end up in negative thought patterns and how trauma or past experiences show up in those. Okay. So this is just my favorite topic ever, mostly because I absolutely know that everybody deals with these on some level. I mean, I've not ran across a single person, no matter where they are at in their healing journey, or even if they've just been avoiding tackling any kind of inner work. I've never met a single person that didn't have something that we needed to work on in this category. So it's so needed, you guys. It's so needed, and it's absolutely something that you cannot avoid forever. I feel that so strongly in my soul. If you do decide to avoid healing your past experiences, let me tell you what happens, okay? You're put in a situation, years, let's say 20 years, it's been 20 years, and you are put in a situation where it triggers the same thought patterns that you once had when you were a kid. Let's say you're 13 and you just moved to a new school, because you guys, that's like pretty much me, right? When I was 13, actually, I moved around. I went to like 8 different schools. So I literally was always in a new school, and it was very rough on me. So one of the things that was rough about that is, one, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. It was very unroutine, right? There was no routine about it. And I didn't have any friends. I mostly just didn't want to be seen on any level, right? And yeah, I just wanted to hide away and kind of fade into the background, which is totally relatable to a lot of people, okay? But we all have different experiences. Some of you maybe went to the same school for that many years, and maybe you didn't experience it that way, but you felt like boundaries were crossed at home where you wanted to be alone more, or you felt like you didn't really love hanging out with people because you didn't like being in the spotlight or something like that. There's different programs that come up around, quote, belonging, right? They are very much solidified as children, as young adults, all the way up into, let's say, like 25. You have already subconsciously programmed your mind on how you want to experience life. But there's a big problem there, right? I mean, if you never wanted to be seen, you wouldn't leave your house ever. You wouldn't get a new job. You wouldn't, get married. You wouldn't travel to new places, right? Like all of these things that happen in everyday adult life would become a trigger. And honestly, we still see that, right? We see a lot of people with social anxiety. A ton of people attribute that to other, chronic issues. We will say neurological issues. And I'm not downing on any diagnoses, but I should say diagnoses, but I'm going to stay away from labeling anything. Let's just say that a lot of social issues come up in my sessions with people that they are attributing to a certain kind of label, but that we are able to work on it and actually relieve some of that anxiety through subconscious release technique, breath work, meditation, and that kind of thing. So it's not always, hey, now I fit in this one box and there's nothing I can ever do about it. And I really think that there's 2 things happening here. One thing is we are really starting to understand the mind, and we are just being able to express and accept so many different neurological highs and lows in people, and just really be more accepting to people that maybe, have a little bit more going on in that department. But on the flip side, we oftentimes are using it as an excuse to say, and I don't mean excuse in a negative connotation the way it comes off, but basically to say, well, there's nothing I can do about that because XYZ, because I was diagnosed, because I was whatever. That's just simply not true. I mean, there is so much hope for people who have some of these anxieties. And I really didn't want to just focus on that one, but this programming around belonging in a group or wanting to find a community that supports you is such a big deal in my world. You guys hear it in my outro every time you listen to a podcast, if you actually follow it through to the end, but always in my outro and in my beginning, it even says that I am trying to build a community of like-minded people. I want us to support each other through healing. Okay. So what that means for me is that when people are showing their traumas, I want to say, hey guys, there's something here that you can actually work on. Like, you don't have to live this way. You don't have to be upset when things go wrong. And a lot of that is honestly not in our control, but our perception of things is in our control. And that's what's lacking when our thoughts, our negative thought patterns are clouding our perception, right? We automatically go in defensive mode, or the blame game, or the victimization game. Like, you guys, I am not here to down on anyone, because we have all gone through that phase. I have absolutely 100% blamed other people for my perception of the world. It doesn't matter what it was. I have 100% felt like a victim and like I couldn't do anything in the world and I couldn't run a business because I wasn't worthy of that because I was not smart enough and I didn't know how to handle money and all of these things. I wasn't raised in an entrepreneurial environment, so I don't know how to do these things, right? There's so many things that can hold you back. And I want you guys sometimes to just take a step back and say, wait a second, am I holding myself back now? Am I really the problem? If you end up in a situation, again, out of your control, and you take a step back and say, oh, I'm responding to this because I never actually got over this other situation where I really felt belittled and I really felt like my friends abandoned me and whatever else it could be. I never really got over that, so that's why I'm responding to this. Then that right there, that thought should be enough to boot you into a whole other world of healing, because you're recognizing that you have to heal, that you need to hold space for healing. That's what you're doing. You cannot, and a lot of people do this and we really need to stop, you cannot acknowledge it on such a deep and profound level like that and then brush it aside. Okay? Once you come to the understanding and you are in a place where you realize that some things you did not let go of, that is the biggest sign that says, hey, you know what? It's time. It's time to actually tackle this. How can you do that? You can do that many ways. You can do traditional therapy. Like I will tell you all day long that something is better than nothing. If you want to join us, you're always welcome to. I try to give you guys links all the time on it, on my program, where we dive into these things all the time. Okay, but you have to take action. You have to take action. Your mind and your level of awareness is such that you're recognizing these signs, but you're not taking action. That means it's time, okay? You've got to get over that. You've got to get over that fear. You've got to take that first step. Maybe it just means reaching out. Maybe it just means, hey, I just want to check out. What does this mean? How can this help me? I'm starting at step 1 and I just want to know, what can you do to help me? That is a step, okay? So I hope this doesn't sound like a rant, okay? I absolutely do feel passionate about this because I keep seeing people picking up on these signs and this awareness is there and it's just becoming bigger every day, but then they don't take action and they don't want to fix it. And then these big things happen in life that just remind you of where you're at and what kind of healing needs to happen, and you still don't rise to it. So my big question for you today is, why not? Why not? And if you feel like it's fear, I have 3 or 4 episodes out of 45 that are about fear of healing. Okay, so I will direct you to those. I'll even put them in the show notes, what numbers they are. But that's a great place to start. If you haven't heard those ones, that would be a good place to start. But sincerely from my heart, I'm sending all the love out to everybody who needs it today. And if you know that you are in a situation where you are ready to take some steps towards healing, reach out. I will find out how I can help you. If it's not me, I will find a way for you to be helped, okay? Because this road and this life can be so amazing. It can be everything you think and you hope it can be. But you got to take the steps. Nobody else can take those steps for you. Nobody else can come to the realization for you. It has to be you. And I know 100% that you are ready for that. I know that you are feeling the inspiration to tackle some of this stuff because so many people are now coming full circle to understanding what's going on in their minds and how that's affecting them. I know you're on this journey and I'm happy to be on it with you. All right, guys, have a wonderful, beautiful weekend, and I will see you next Tuesday. I hope this podcast spoke to you in some way. If it did, please go ahead and leave me a review and subscribe so that I know you're enjoying what you hear. And further, if you know somebody else who owns their own creative business and struggles with anything that we spoke about, please pass this on, because it is my hope that we will be able to build a community of like-minded individuals who love on each other and appreciate the many facets that make our creative business so unique. And lastly, check out the show notes to find my free Facebook community and other useful links to work with me. All right, friends, see you soon.